Good evening, all. I'd like to call to order our these mics are louder, our July 8th, 2024 edition of the Town of Garner Planning Commission. Thanks for all those who are here.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'll call the roll. Gina Avent, John Blasco,
Here.
Ralph Carson,
Here.
Philip Jefferson,
Here.
Jehan Hodges,
Here.
Sherry Phillips,
Here.
Michael Voiland.
Here.
That's 6 members present.
All right, thank you very much. We will, since it is the 1st of July which is the start of our new year, that means we are here to swear in our new members.
Mr. Jefferson, would you like to raise your hand? I, Philip Jefferson,
I, Philip Jefferson,
do solemnly and sincerely swear or affirm
do solemnly and sincerely swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
and laws of the United States
and laws of the United States
and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina,
and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina,
not inconsistent therewith,
not inconsistent therewith,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of my office
the duties of my office
as a member of the Town of Garner
as a member of the Town of Garner
Planning Commission.
Planning Commission.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Mr. Carson. I, Ralph Carson,
I, Ralph Carson,
do solemnly and sincerely swear or affirm
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
and laws of the United States
and laws of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
and laws of North Carolina,
and the laws of North Carolina,
not inconsistent therewith,
not inconsistent therewith,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of my office
the duties of my office
as a member of the Town of Garner
as a
Planning
member
Commission.
of the Town of Garner Planning Commission.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Mr. Voiland. I, Michael Voiland,
I, Michael Voiland,
do solemnly and sincerely swear or affirm
do solemnly
and sincerely
and sincerely swear and affirm
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution and laws
the Constitution and laws
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution and laws
and the Constitution and laws
of North Carolina,
of North Carolina,
not inconsistent therewith,
not inconsistent therewith,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of my
the
office
duties of my office
as a member of the Town of Garner
as a member of the Town of Garner
Planning
Planning Commission.
Commission. So help me God.
So help me God.
Okay, Ms. Bishop. Oh, is it? I, Mariah Bishop, do solemnly and sincerely swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution and laws of the United States and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina, not inconsistent therewith, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of my office as a member of the Town of Garner Planning Commission. So help me God.
At this time, we'll have the new members seated and we can shuffle chairs. And Mr. Blasco, if you'd like to come down for a moment.
Yeah, before I step away from the mic, if you don't mind,
That's quite all right.
I said it last month, but I'll say it again. I've really enjoyed working with you all on the planning commission. Some for longer than others, and with Mr. Triesenberg and his staff for the last 7 years, which is hard to believe. So I trust that you will all continue in your endeavors and continue to make those hard decisions, and wish you all the best of luck. I wish our new members the best of luck. I know you will all do great. If you ever need anything, I am a resource. Don't be afraid to reach out. And with that, I appreciate everyone and everyone's commitment to the town. Thank you.
And as part of the conclusion of your extended 7-year term, we do have just a little parting plaque that we would like to present you with in honor of your 7 years of service, as well as your name plaque from being up there for so many years. And then we will also have another certificate that we'll be sending to you in the mail in just a couple of weeks. But here you go.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right. We thank you very much again for your years of service, and thanks for coming here tonight.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
All right, and with that, Mr. Vice Chair, we'll turn it over to you for the election of officers. Just as a reminder, there'll need to be motions and seconds on actual nominations. Once you open them, we will need a motion at some point to close the nominations to be seconded and voted on. If there's only one nominee, then we'll proceed straight to a vote of appointment. If we do have more than one, we'll take that as it comes.
Okay, well, this is a time for us to submit nominations from the floor for chair of our commission. Are there any nominations?
I'll make the nomination to nominate Philip Jefferson for the position of chair.
Second.
And if you would like, you can just, rather than doing a roll call, we can just do a all in favor, all opposed.
Okay, all right. Well, since there's a second, all in favor of the nominations?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the ayes have it.
Okay.
Are there nominations on the floor for our vice chair?
I will nominate Ralph Carson for vice chair.
Okay,
And I'll second.
we have a second. If there are no other additions, do we have a vote in favor of Mr. Carson as vice chair? I'll say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Mr. Carson, you have been elected as our vice chair. Congratulations. Thank you very much. We now need a motion to close our nominations and elections.
Oh, no,
Oh, we don't?
fine.
Oh, we're fine. We're fine.
You're fine.
Okay, well, I guess that means we can move into our agenda. Do we have an invocation available from our planning commission? If not, we will move forward. Okay, we will move forward with our adoption of our agenda. Do we have a motion to adopt our agenda as written?
I will move that we adopt the agenda.
Okay, Mrs. Orland. All in favor?
I'll second
Yeah,
it.
all right, you have a second?
Yep.
Okay. All.
There's a motion on the floor to adopt the agenda. I'll call the vote. Mariah Bishop,
Aye. Yes.
Ralph Carson,
Aye.
Philip Jefferson,
Aye.
Jehan Hodges,
Aye.
Sherry Phillips,
Aye.
and Michael Voiland.
Aye.
That's 6 ayes. The agenda is adopted.
Thank you. We have approved our agenda. Next on our agenda is the approval of our meeting minutes from June 10th, 2024. Are there any questions or changes that need to be made to the minutes before we have a motion? Okay, hearing none. Is there a motion to approve our meeting minutes from June 10th?
I'll make the motion to approve the meeting minutes of June 10th, 2024.
Thank you, Mr. Carson. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second.
There's a motion on the floor to adopt the presented minutes. I'll call the vote. Mariah Bishop,
Aye.
Ralph Carson,
Aye.
Philip Jefferson,
Aye.
Jehan Hodges,
Aye.
Sherry Phillips,
I was absent last month, so.
sure, and Michael Voiland.
Aye.
That's 5 ayes. The minutes are adopted.
Okay, thank you very much. Old and new business. Our first item on our agenda, CZMP 2213, 1306 Creech Road. This is a Tier 2 conditional rezoning request. This has been requested to be,
Yes, Mr. Chair. The applicant is here to officially make the request, if you would so like.
please
Good
state your-
afternoon.
Thank you. Please state your
Chair.
name and your address.
I'm Isabel Maddox, Nichols and Crampton Law Firm, 3700 Glenwood Avenue in Raleigh. Yes, I'd like to request a deferral of this matter until the August meeting. Our clients are looking at some other development options, having had some feedback from you guys and some from council. We have had one meeting with the mayor and one council member, hoping to have some more. And again, we're working on some other options, so we would request a deferral.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you so much for that request. So we need to vote on that. Is that right?
Yes, you'll need a
So,
motion to.
do we have a motion to accept the request to continue this case until our August meeting?
I move that we accept the request to move this proposal to the August 12th meeting.
Okay, is there a second?
I second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second.
There's a motion on the floor to defer to the August meeting, and I'll call the vote. Mariah Bishop,
Aye.
Ralph Carson,
Aye.
Philip Jefferson,
Aye.
Jehan Hodges,
Aye.
Sherry Phillips,
Aye.
Michael Voiland.
Aye.
That's 6 ayes. The motion to defer passes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. We look forward to seeing you in August. Next on our agenda, Benson Road. This is CZ 2302-3412, Benson Road, Tier 1 Conditional District Rezoning Request. Do we have our applicant?
Do not have the applicant here tonight, but the applicant has had another conflict. But they have requested for their case to be continued to August as well, in order to work on a few additional items that they wanted to have some time to work on coming out of the public hearing.
Okay.
So
Okay.
again, we would request a motion to continue to the August meeting.
Okay, so for CZ 2302-3412 Benson Road, we are also requesting a continuation and defer until the August 12th meeting. Do we have a motion to accept that?
I'll make the motion to continue this case to the regular meeting of August 12th.
Okay, do we have a second?
A second.
We have a motion and a second.
There's a motion on the floor to continue the case to the meeting of August 12th, and I'll call the vote. Mariah Bishop,
Aye.
Ralph Carson,
Aye.
Philip Jefferson,
Aye.
Jehan Hodges,
Aye.
Sherry Phillips,
Aye.
Michael Voiland.
Aye.
That's 6 ayes. The motion to defer passes.
Thank you so much. Our next case, CZ SB 2009 Wilmington Place. This is a conditional rezoning request that's submitted by Site Investments. This is continued from our June meeting, correct? Is our applicant here? Mr. Triesenberg, would you like to give us an intro?
Yes, I will give you a brief update. I won't go through the whole presentation that we've given before, but I will focus on some of the updates that are in your packet tonight. And so that hopefully we can proceed to a motion and recommendation on this particular case. So as you noted, Mr. Chair, this is CZSB 2009 Wilmington Place, continued from last month and the month before. Just a brief overview again of the request. This is a conditional Tier 2 rezoning request, or it has become that. It was originally a full rezoning with the old full subdivision plan packet. This is from 2020 before the Tier 2 was actually adopted into the old ordinance. But we have tried to present it in much the same fashion so as not to confuse things too much. But the original request, again, was from the old R9 and the obsolete MR1 district to MF1 conditional. The proposal is still to be that multifamily A now conditional. And it's been adjusted to a request of 55 zero-lot line single-family detached homes and 61 townhouses, just on shy of 40 acres off of Creech Road, and kind of straddling what would eventually be the realigned or extended Wilmington Road. You see today, after the adoption of our new zoning, it is now zoned R4. And most of the zoning around the area is various types of residential. You see some R2, some R4, and some RA, with just a few little spots of multifamily thrown in. This was the more recent case that was approved for the Tryon Point apartments. And then this was this MFA down here is older multifamily housing. And then this also was another Wilmington townhome project further down, nestled in behind Hunter's Mark. We are at the edge of a neighborhood activity center whose anticipated centroid is kind of right here. You would have eventually Tryon Road being extended through here, so it would kind of be on the southeastern quadrant of Tryon Road and Creech in the future, but you will have Creech Road in between, so Creech does kind of create somewhat of a natural barrier to how we would expect this activity center to develop. So we have noted that on the one hand, this might suggest a little higher density, but there are other maps in the comprehensive plan that kind of keep that in check a little bit for this particular area over here, while encouraging more of the higher densities over here. The applicant has narrowed the uses to 3 out of a possible 21 to give it some specificity. And we did go over the other conditions related to aesthetics and amenities last time, and this is where we kind of get into the updates. So there were 3 lawn areas with pergolas. You'll see that those I have at least one of them kind of included here in the snapshot. They've been given a little more definition, and trails have been added to mark how they will be accessed from the neighborhood itself. And then the public greenway, which is just off the screen here, we'll see that in a slide here coming up. There was a connection added back to the street network to give it some circulation. And speaking of, initially we had the public trail following the recommended path leading up to the northeast, but we don't like to create dead ends in the short term, so we worked with the applicant to create a private connection that would come from the public trail back around to the street network. So that way, once you're then including on the sidewalks, you can actually have a loop. If you want to do a larger loop, you could actually come through here and take this trail back here to the cul-de-sac. And it gives you some options for recreating at different lengths of how far you'd like to walk. Just a reminder again of the proposal, meeting all of the requirements for open space dedication. And then I'll highlight to you just a few of the updated conditions. So items 4, 8, 19 were all updated slightly. Parking pads were added into the parking condition. The deck patio was adjusted down to 90 square feet. And then again, a little bit more of that definition given to those play areas. This sentence was added to number 19, that each pergola will have at least a bench or internal bench seating. And then items 21 through 25 are all new. So there will be 2 private walkways connected to the greenway other than by the street side sidewalk. There will be a bus stop easement on the newly constructed Creech Road. The northernmost play area will be connected by a walkway from the cul-de-sac to the overflow parking at the connection with Gatewood. Each play area grass lawn will be at least 1,000 square feet, and one of the 3 play areas will have at least 1 piece of play equipment and or exercise equipment location to be determined during subdivision plan or construction drawing review. So again, just a reminder, when we're looking at the comprehensive plan, we have the framework map that we're looking at. Also the land use character and type, which in this case is just, neighborhood typology. And the development intensity is only a level 2, so we're not looking for anything dramatically different. You see kind of what I was talking about earlier. The level 3 is over here on the west side of Creech Road. So where we expect to see the little bit higher densities, we would look over here. So staff reevaluated the consistency criteria. I've included the previous pie chart over here in the gray, just so you kind of have a visual graphic of how the score by staff has changed. We now see that the consistency of the framework was pretty good already, but four of the criteria were able to be nudged a little more towards consistency. So we now have 10 of the objectives and goals looking fairly strong, 3 modestly consistent, and now just 1 modestly inconsistent. So we always expect to see stronger consistency on the framework. As our consultant reminded us, the framework is what we really have to hold to, so we're not looking to be inconsistent or change that unless there's really extenuating circumstances or some kind of significant condition that has changed. And then the land use and community character consistency. Again, we've got the old chart up above here and the new chart down here at the bottom. We would still notice, staff, that consistency is still divided, but it has moved slightly in the right direction, particularly in terms of providing stronger connections of the open space to the other existing public spaces. Some attention was given to that item, and the addition of the bus easement was the extra credit point for setting that aside. So again, you do see some movement over there. We expected to see some movement in that direction. Would we have liked to have seen more? Perhaps, but we do need to keep in mind the reality that this project was begun in its planning stages almost 4 years ago. And there's a lot of effort that went into developing this plan under previous rules and previous plans. So staff is satisfied that without going back to the drawing board, we feel like we've gotten this in about as good a position as we could expect at this time. So again, just a summary slide of the new reviews overall. And we did rework the draft consistency statement for you. I'll just read that in. We, the Planning Commission, find that with a strong level of growth framework consistency and with a split to modest level of land use and community character consistency, along with a not insignificant introduction of a new type of housing to the Garner market. Again, noting that the 0 lot line, we don't have any housing of this particular style in town currently. This request to rezone almost 40 acres from single-family R9 and multi-residential MR1 to multifamily 1 MF1 C236, which upon adoption, should the council adopt it, would actually be MFA under the new UDO. For the construction of up to those 55 zero-lot line single-family detached homes and 61 townhouses is generally consistent with the town's adopted land use plans. So we are recommending for you that you stay kind of on the left hand of the matrix in finding it consistent, and then debating whether you would like to recommend approval or denial based on the merits of the case to the council. And we have both of those draft motions drafted for you. As noted, the applicant is here tonight to also provide you with their take on the updates, and would encourage you to hear from him. And that's all that I have for you.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Friesenberg, for that update and overview from where we were in our last meeting. Our applicant is here. Would you like to come forward and speak to us on behalf of your proposal? And please state your name and address for our record.
Thank you, sir. Members of the commission, Charles Walker, 275 North Pea Ridge Road in Pittsburgh, North Carolina, representing the developer. We appreciate the work that staff has allowed us to do to try and get through this unusual project not simply, but for several reasons, because of its age and the ever-changing UDO and ever-changing code, and we tried to morph with it. I think Mr. Boyman asked for a couple of more straightforward answers from the previous map conditions, and I think we've done that. We've shown the play area. We've shown trails to the play areas. We've given given minimums of the play areas and bench seatings, and we think we have gotten, we know we have strengthened our case as shown with the staff recommendation for approval or at least satisfaction. The one part of the UDO we were having problems with the consistency with the land use was a lot of that land use asked for things to be, some items to be centrally located within the project. Our problem here, that the centrally location of this project is Wilmington Road. So we're kind of hung there. So again, what we tried to do is we tried to link things, we tried to spread things out. So you didn't necessarily have to get to a car to do one thing or another. And we believe we have answered, we hopefully have answered the staff's concerns as well as yours, and hopeful that we could get your recommendation for approval to move to council. I'll answer any questions you may have for me.
Okay, thank you so much. Commission, have any questions for our applicant or any more clarifications from the adjustments?
I've got a question regarding the, I guess they call it the Porter property, the Porter house.
Yes.
Getting that intersection reconfigured is kind of an ultimate goal, I guess, of the town.
Yes.
What are you pursuing as far as trying to look at that parcel, or is the town perhaps looking at that parcel?
I know that Mr. Porter was at the last planning commission meeting, and I know he has had discussions with members of the staff. I can't speak to that. I don't know what they were speaking of. Unfortunately, the Porter House was unobtainable when this project came through. It's never been part of our project. What we as developers were trying to do was trying to solve an issue if we could do it. We made an offer to the Porters a while ago, and their response was so astronomically far away from what we were doing, we just kind of let it. We couldn't reach their demands. So at this point, it is outside of our hands.
I think Mr. Hodges might have a comment.
Yes, sir. Good evening, commissioners. Just to follow on with a little bit, there's no current activity from the town in working with that property. There was some confusion early on. I think there was some thought that there may be a way to work with some of the required fee and lieu payments that the developer would be paying should this project move forward to be used for other types of transportation improvements. And that is not something that the way that our fee and lieu program is structured that could be done. So that may have caused some confusion in early conversations. So at this point in time, you would be evaluating, and council would be evaluating this as it is currently drawn, knowing that as the commission saw and its council has seen, the long-range goal for this corridor and area is to make that future improvement. It does involve the property that Mr. Porter currently owns, but there's no active negotiation or nothing active at this time. So commission as well as council will be asked to evaluate the project on its merits as it's currently drawn, knowing that the long-range goal would be to make that connection in the future. Whether it's, no matter the outcome of this project, that is likely a long-term goal that we will continue trying to pursue. Does that provide some clarity for you? Okay.
Okay. Mr. Walker, another question, suggestion, I guess. Looking at the graphic that's up there on the screen, where Creech Road comes, I guess, where it comes in first contact with your property, you kind of have a large green space there. I know the right-of-way is kind of limited out there on Creech Road, but if that future connection ever happens, you're kind of creating almost a double S there, a double turn. Would you consider in your final development perhaps maybe that curbing and sidewalk on the western side of that graphic maybe come a little bit closer to that first property, just so you can kind of transition into that future road at some date without having to move curbing and sidewalk?
We added the sidewalk to go up and meet Creech Road.
Yeah.
And is there a question with the path that we chose? Is that what you're asking?
Well, I'm right now, if you're proceeding up Creech Road, you're gonna make that slight left turn. And if that future connection ever goes through, then you're gonna make a slight right turn. So you're doing a slight left and a slight right. I was just suggesting maybe they try to straighten that out now.
What we did was the way that is configured is that the full width of Creech Road, new Creech Road that we're building was guided by the town's transportation plan.
Okay.
And the southern side of Creech Road, we do have that driveway or that street that will connect with Creech Road. It's kind of a strange, the right-of-way kind of swims and hems and haws in that curve for some ungodly reason. We don't know why. But our site plan requires or proposes to do a right turn lane, deceleration lane into the project. So that's what's set, and so we honored the curvature of the existing Creech Road. So we figure that it follows Creech Road until the new Creech Road is built, and then that will be straightened out with the dedicated right of way. So that's the best kind of hybrid we can come with at the time. I will tell you that it doesn't show up here on the graphic, but our development team has had a lot of discussion about that. We don't want anybody driving down or driving up Creech in this particular case to be confused about what they see with new Creech. So we're going to build a pretty good sized berm and plant it. So they won't see that part of Creech. Of course, that will be torn out when Creech is realigned, but we just, for safety reasons, that's something we plan to do.
Mm-hmm. Then I have a question from Mr. Triesenberg. Initially, council had asked that the planning commission, I guess, withholds recommendation until the feedback was received from council and staff regarding the Creech Road improvements. Has anything come of that would impact this proposal?
I'll let Mr. Hodges speak to that again. He's probably more into.
I think the way that was worded when it was first referred to Planning Commission, I think council envisioned that there might be some type of decisions they might make about the Creech Road corridor. When we came back to them with the additional information, which is the same information that was presented to Planning Commission recently, council did not make any specific decisions. I think they acknowledged that there are a lot of moving parts here, and there wasn't one clear path that they could make any final formal decision on. And so they asked to make sure that we just reiterated the conversation that happened at that meeting to Planning Commission, and also share the information from the town engineer with the Planning Commission. So I think they then sent it more as information to help the future long-range plans, rather than waiting on any specific directive that may come from them. There's no currently any plans to revisit that information about Creech Road currently on the agenda for town council in the near future.
Was there any kind of consolidation on priorities? I know we were asked to submit our feedback, and I assume that maybe met with some staff feedback. Was there any consolidation into what priority 1, priority 2 might be, or is that just another topic for another day?
Yeah, we can give you an update more thoroughly on that, but it was generally, I think, how we saw the conversation somewhat going last time. I don't think there was a very wide disparity as to what should be, which projects would be recommended to go as far as the Planning Commission was concerned. And I think it's fairly safe to say that I think there is fairly good agreement on Creech and Wilmington that this is this project, if approved, would be a step in that direction for that particular solution to that part of it. I think this is not what you're seeing in front of you now. We can comfortably say that it's not in conflict with eventually where we'd like to see the Creech Wilmington go.
The only thing I would add to that is I believe that there were some early opinions, and there still may be some amongst council, that the future connection of Wilmington Road may be very far out in the future, and if it's going to be, is it something we really need to focus our efforts on? And I believe that at least there was some sentiment from council, it may not be unanimous, after hearing the updated information from the town engineer and staff, is that while it may seem a long way out, it is still a goal that is on our transportation plan and one that we should continue working toward. So should this project be approved, this project would pay a fee in lieu for half of the crossing that would connect Wilmington, that would help with the connection to Wilmington. The half of the crossing that they'd be required to do, we have a program for taking a fee in lieu of those improvements when they cannot physically be made. And in this case, they can't be made because you can't build half of a bridge over the water feature. So there would be a required fee in lieu payment if this does move forward and gets approved as you currently see it. And then if the developer is offering anything beyond that, then that's something they could take back to council, but they would be required to make the fee in lieu payment for the crossing the Creech Road, the Wilmington Road connection over to existing Wilmington.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions or clarifications that we need from either applicant or from staff? Okay, well, seeing that there are no other questions, thank you so much for coming up to talk with us. We appreciate it. So that we have something to discuss, is there a motion from the commission on this case for us to review?
I will move that the Planning Commission accept the consistency statement drafted herein as our own written recommendation regarding the consistency of the request with the town's adopted land use plans, and recommend approval of case number CZSB 2009 to the town council as generally reasonable and in the public interest.
Hey, thank you.
I'll second that.
We have a second. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion before we move on to?
Just an observation in terms of this proposal and what will or will not happen to Creech and Wilmington roads at what point in time. This proposal just leaves to me a lot of doors open of what could happen depending upon how things play out. It's as simple as that.
Right. Any other discussion? You think you want to share? I have to agree with you, Mr. Boylan. You know, it's like one of those things that chicken before the egg or egg before the chicken, I guess. There's some potential positive improvement that could potentially come from this. And we've discussed already previously some of the positive components of the plan. So If there's no other discussion, we are ready to vote.
All right, there's a motion on the floor to accept and recommend approval. And I will call the vote. Mariah Bishop,
Aye.
Ralph Carson,
Aye.
Philip Jefferson,
Aye.
Jehan Hodges,
Aye.
Sherry Phillips, Michael Boyland.
Aye.
That's 6 ayes. The motion passes.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you all for clarifying this and giving us information, and thank you for the updates per our last meeting. We look forward to seeing how this will help us move forward in some capacity. That is our last case. So we are now with our reports from the planning director and any comments from planning commission.
Just a few items for you tonight. Council has only had one meeting since your last meeting in June. So at that meeting, there is a project called Homestead at Bryan Farms that is under consideration for public hearing. That item has been continued at their level, but that will be coming to you in the months ahead. The special use permit for the Bennett Assemblage Apartments was approved. That's not something that you've seen recently, but that was a rezoning case for you probably a year or so ago. Bennett is the assemblage on the west side of 401, just south of Swift Creek, so across from the existing development that you're seeing happen. As noted before here on your agenda, 3412 Benson Road. Again, the applicant is making some revisions based on that, but that one was at a public hearing in June, and council did vote to forward that to you. So you hopefully will be seeing that one next month. And then Vintage Garner, if you'll remember, that was the project on Farm Road in 401. That was apartments kind of in the rear going back towards the Norfolk Southern Railroad tracks with a kind of walkable commercial center up front along 401 with the little pedestrian plaza envisioned for that. That was also approved. So that was it for council actions. Update on the ETJ staff. We concluded our series of meetings with the public at the end of June. We had 4 meetings, decently attended. Actually was surprised there probably wasn't more, but there was on average, I think, anywhere from 5 to 20 people at each meeting. Some of them were, the ones on the southern part were probably the best attended, down south of 1010 Road. So the next step for that, staff, we need to put together kind of all of our summary materials from our public outreach and convey that kind of in a nice tidy package to county staff. And we'll be looking for the county staff to start making arrangements to book their public hearings and moving it through their Board of Commissioners and their Planning Commission in the months ahead. One note on staffing updates. We are actively looking at filling vacant positions. We currently have 2 that we have advertised internally, and those are both in Ms. Joseph's group. So we hope to be having some news to report on that next month to you. In addition, because she is a group of 1 as of right now, but we also were approved for a 3rd position in her group in the current budget. So once we're going to give her a little bit of time to get the 2 positions that she does have settled, and then we'll be advertising a little later on this year for that 3rd position, and then depending on how things shake out, we may have some other positions to open up to the public. So we're very excited about that. Additionally, we also, at the work session, I gave a short presentation to the council on the development map. So again, if you're familiar with the development map that is online, I think John's sneaking up so he can give you a little preview of it. Alex, our GIS specialist, worked to kind of create another layer of process so that hopefully you all, the council, public, can get an even earlier kind of preview of what is potentially coming. So we've added, you'll see a new color, it's purple. It's for all those that are applications in progress. Just to give you a little bit of an overview of how the process is set up at that early stage. Applicants are most often required in most cases for any kind of major project to schedule a pre-application conference with staff. So once they have that pre-application conference, though, there's a little bit of time before they actually get to the point of submitting a actual full application, something official. Some of the things that they have to do in that intervening time is conduct their first neighborhood meeting. And then they also quite often have to finish a TIA if a TIA is required, traffic impact assessment. So coming out of those pre-application conferences, though, and getting them set up for their first neighborhood meeting, one of the things they have to do is contact our GIS specialist, Alex, for the mailing list. So it's at that time when he is contacted for the mailing list that he will add that project to this map in purple, representing again that it's an application in progress. They've had their preliminary conference with us, but they have not yet finished their full package.
If I could add, Jeff, this is just an additional step in working with the mayor, who's with us tonight, and council members to try to help make sure that folks are aware of what's happening and within the context of other things happening. So as we've mentioned before, that's one reason we really like focusing everyone to this map when we're talking about new things, because it gives you the information in context to the existing community as well as what's being developed around it. And as Jeff said, the purple items are being added here as applications in progress. One thing I will note is that sometimes when things are loaded in purple, there is enough known about the project for staff to have been able to attach a site plan or a bubble diagram or something. So in this case of this project, you will see a diagram there. And I just accidentally closed the entire map. But I also want to note, I think it's important for the public to understand as well, that sometimes because they're being added so early, the type project that they are may mean that there is nothing to attach. So as planning commission members who are maybe interfacing with the public, we just ask your understanding as well as your assistance in communicating to the public. While we are adding an additional earlier layer of information, we don't want it to be unintentionally confusing to people because we don't have something there for them to click on and see. So if you will, if you're in conversations with the public, just help understand that we're trying to provide information earlier, but sometimes that comes at the cost of not having details that we can attach just because of the type project. So thanks, Jeff.
Mm-hmm. And Mr. Chair, that's all we have for you from our side.
Okay.
Tonight.
Well, thank you for that. Is there anything from the planning commission that we'd like to share? Any questions for staff or comments or just spoil in?
Is the creative stapling just trying to keep us awake?
The
Is that
printer
what this is?
was giving us fits on Wednesday, so I'll make sure they're stapled better. I do apologize.
Yes, we have definitely had some equipment challenges here the last week or two, but we seem to be over that hurdle.
Yeah, they've both been serviced actually Friday, so they came right after the 4th.
That's a sign that we actually looked at it beforehand. Right? We come in with new stapled sheets.
Well, I'd like to welcome our new member and our new chair and vice chair. So I'd like just congratulations and look forward to working with everybody.
Thank you for that. That's exactly right. Hopefully I don't get things wrong, which I know that I probably will at some point.
Well, if we're
Right?
pointing out staplers, I'm sure we'll point out if it gets something wrong.
We know this process goes. Mr. Blasco was pretty good as our former chair. Well, yes, welcome, Ms. Bishop.
Thank you. Yes, I look forward to serving with you all and serving the town of Garner in North Carolina.
Welcome aboard.
Yes, welcome. If you have anything that you have questions about, just reach out to any of us. We're very welcoming. We email as well. Well, if there's no other updates or questions from us, then I will call this meeting adjourned.